Hey guys, and welcome back to Ember Quartz part 19. This might be a little bit shorter episode today. I'm not really sure. Maybe I will be, entertained by how this part is going to unfold story-wise. Because right now, yet again, it's very late, and this is the only time of the day when I actually feel like playing, especially since the Tomo route might be... not might be, it's definitely going to get etchy, and that's the type of content that you usually play at night, because if you're accidentally, like, this is one of those VNs that did not have a panic button back then. They did not invent it, so and what the panic button does is, like, whenever they open the door on you during 8 scenes, you just press escape and whatever the thing is, like, you're playing is, like, stops and just, like it becomes a different kind of screen. So this is where we left off. It was kind of a little bit in the middle of like a talking session, and I also pressed I think we are one dialogue further in, because I accidentally pressed, when I made the save. But you know what, it's like you can just check what the previous text was. It was like Tokyo Tower instead of Mount Fuji, but whatever. You can lose in Cat's Cradle. At what point did that one get decided? As I half listened to the girls in my class chatting, I found myself wondering. Recess, the art of braiding, is on full display all over the classroom. Braiding. In Class B over the past 2 years, Cat's Cradle has become a huge craze, especially among the girls. Ever since I showed everyone how to play Cat's Cradle the other day, an unprecedented Cat's Cradle craze has been sweeping through our class. NPCs as roots. Bambuku Shagaba. That's pretty niche. I just don't really get why is this like... I mean, I know that, like, probably the writers think that this MC is like you, and like you should feel good that, like, oh my god, there's so many girls simping over me, and this is like the fun service that the game throws you. I still think that no one, like, if this would be reality, no one would bat an eye to this guy. Like, let's take example, for example, like Marshmallow All the Way Home. It had god-awful roots, but the guy did earn everything that the girls threw at him, because he was probably a W despite he was a homeless person. But, like in this case, like, the MC is a dickhead, so I don't know why you, like, simping over him, especially since Nayuta is, like, confessed and everyone knows that, so... Well, come on, you don't have to fight over something as trivial as string figures. Sure, of course. Do Japanese people really talk like this? Like, cho 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 cho. What the fuck? Come on, let's just do it. Let's play Cat's Cradle. To be honest, I don't even know what Cat's Cradle is, because, like, it has to be like a Japanese thing that for some reason it has a translation, but, like, I never once in my life played this shit or heard about it. I gave a wry smile as I took the string figures from them. Imagine if it was like a Squid game. For some reason, all the girls in my class come to me, one after another, challenging me to play Cat's Cradle. I kept accepting the challenge because it was good practice for me, but I didn't really understand how things had come to this.
ほんとなんだよお前ばっかり。世の中不公平じゃね？間違ってね？
You and me both, Amamiya. What the hell are you talking about, just showing up out of nowhere like that?
うるせえよこの FMK 野郎め。
Thank you. Keep bad-mouthing this bitch, yeah. What's MMK? I don't know either.
もっこりもっさり海綿体の略だよこのニブチン。
It's short for bulging flabby spongy tissue, you dim bit. Thank you. This is like off to a good start. I don't really get it, but I know I'm being made fun out of. Amamiya is acting all weird. What on earth is he trying to say? That you're a dickhead. That aside, I feel like the atmosphere in the class has improved since we started playing Cat's Cradle. The most striking change was that little girl playing Cat's Cradle right there.
これが川二人あやとりの基本形。へえ、こっからお互いに取っていくんだよね。そう、取りながらどんどん形を変えていく。形が崩れたりほどけたりしたら負け。
ミナクラさんすごい上手だよね。勉強ができるだけじゃないんだ。
別に大したことじゃないから。
By the way, she talks to other students, so that's improvement.
わお、クール。さすがは天才少女。
When I looked over at Tomo's seat, she was surrounded by the girls in our class. In the middle of it all, Tomo is teaching everyone how to play Cat's Cradle, with her usual blank expression, but looking a little shy. It turned out that Tomo was really good at string figures, so the girls in the class started asking her to teach them. Thanks to that, Tomo, who used to be isolated, seems to have really started to fit in with the class. This was an unexpected side effect, but for me it turned out to be a greater achievement than my original goal. So Tomo wasn't rejecting other people after all. Tomo's true nature probably hasn't changed at all over the years. She's just shy and reserved. That's probably why she didn't know how to interact with strangers. She didn't know well, and that's how things ended up turning out. So as long as I have a chance, I can get along with anyone. Just like when Tomo and I became friends 7 years ago. Alright, Tomo, play Cat's Cradle with me again. So feeling inexplicably happy, I decided to try again to take the string figure from Tomo. Tomo, let's settle this. Today, I'm finally going to take it from you.
いいけど。
By the way, I said that she's a kudere, but she's actually a dandere. Because a kudere wouldn't be interested in the slightest, but you know, you don't know this unless you are on the route of someone. But to be honest, it's not like there's an actual route system in this, it just like throws you at whatever route you want to do. Or like, you know, the story progresses. It's super hard, so don't ask me to do it, otherwise it won't be good practice.
わかった。それじゃあ。
Tomo nodded, then quickly changed the pattern of the string figures in her hands.
できた。
Is that like the demon star? Whoa, what was that move? I never seen anything like that before.
私のオリジナル、ギャラクシーと名付けた。
An original move? And Galaxy at that? Samsung Galaxy? Who the hell are you? Nobita Nobi? Who the fuck is that? I don't know. Someone Google that. I don't know. But since I was the one who challenged her to a game of Cat's Cradle, I can't back down now. Now Subaru Ando's challenge begins. By the way, they did awful amount of CGs for this Cat's Cradle, like it was in the past episode. And, like, you know. So this part goes like this. No, wait, maybe like this. It's yet again The funniest scene. Oh no, I can't hold it anymore. It's going to come undone. This is a close call. I started out full of enthusiasm, but I found myself struggling against Tomo's original move, Galaxy. This is really complicated. I have absolutely no idea how it all fits together. I've heard that smart people are usually good with their hands, and Tomo seems to be a perfect example of that. This part goes like this, and then like this, and like this.
まだ
Huh? Any hints?
ヒントなんてない。
Mrs. Tomo is really strict.
先生違う。
I'm no teacher. We chatted about this and that while trying to figure out a way to solve the puzzle, but we just couldn't seem to find one. She just came up with it on the spot. The galaxy spreading out within those tiny hands was intricately, intertwined like a geometric pattern. Intricately, probably. Tomo really is talented, isn't she? She's quick on her feet too. If Tomo had been able to use the nerve wire, she would have been a far greater asset than I am. But in reality, Tomo can't use her special powers, even so she's fighting the alien gods using her wits alone. That's why I'm going to fight them using my special abilities, literally acting as Tomo's right-hand man, to make up for what Tomo cannot do. That's why I need to learn a little bit of Tomo's dexterity through string figures like this. But if things keep going like this, we're in trouble. The time limit is almost up. That's right. When it comes to taking the string figure from Tomo, there is such a thing as a time limit. Since this part is like this... okay, I think I figured it out. Yikes, Tomo. Is it about time?
スバルくん、早く。
Okay, just hang in there a little longer, okay? As I fumbled around, Tomo gradually started to get fidgety and squirm. My breathing grows heavy and my fingertips tremble. I twist my legs under the desk. At that point, time was simply up.
トイレ。
Tomo stood up abruptly and rushed out of the classroom. I sighed as I watched her walk away. Guess I messed up again this time. I had never once managed to finish a string figure before Tomo headed to the restroom.
それにしてもミナクラって案外話せるやつだったんだな。
そうだよね。実際喋ってみたら、実はテレ屋さんなんだって分かってきたし。
天才だって言うからこっちも気遅れしてたけど、むしろちょっと変わってて面白いかも。
Amamiya's classmates each share their thoughts on Tomo. They are my classmates too, no? It felt as if I were being praised myself, and I wasn't sure whether to feel happy or embarrassed. With this, Tomo wouldn't be isolated in class anymore, right? It seemed like my classmates' impressions of Tomo had changed quite a bit, and I felt as if a weight had been lifted off my shoulders. Alright, let's go eat.
はーい、どうぞ召し上がれ。今日もなゆちゃんの手作り弁当、美味しくいただきます。
はいはい、どうせ俺の分はないけどね。
Lunchtime. As usual, I was eating lunch on the rooftop with Nayuta crew under the autumn sky. However, there was one major difference today. Let's go! Let's go, bitch! I hope you made bento for her. If you didn't, I mean, to be honest, you probably did not expect her to come here, so I let it slide, but if it's like...
ささ、
トモ先輩も私のお弁当つまんでってくださいね。
Okay.
じゃあ私はカロチンメイトのチーズ味を。
Wait. She has calorie mate too? Saying that, Minakura placed the familiar yellow box next to Nayuta's lunchbox.
ありがとうございます。じゃあ交換ということで。
Nayuta and Tomo trading homemade bento boxes for calorie mate. I really want to eat calorie mate. I want to try it. That's right, in addition to the usual 4, Tomo was there too. 4? Oh my god, I can't read, bro. I was like, 4? What the fuck is that? 4. Just as I promised earlier, I invited Tomo to lunch today and practically dragged her there.
カロチンメイトも結構美味しいです。
そうなんですか？私も一ついただいてもよろしいでしょうか？どうぞ。なるほど。クッキー感覚でいただけますね。
だよねだよね。しかもこれ一箱で1日で必要なビタミンの約半分が摂取できるんだって。
Is that why calorie mate became so popular?
まあすごい。約半分の約というのが少々気になりますけど。
Yeah. Eating disorder is a shit thing. Nayuta is acting even more excited than usual, along with Tenyuji. Tomo, on the other hand, seems a bit out of place. I really love saying Tenyuji, by the way. Maybe I'm just not used to eating with other people. Or maybe she's just not.
おい、安藤。ミナクラのやつ大丈夫なのか？
Who the fuck? Huh? Well, I guess it will be fine, probably. Without giving it much thought, I just nodded in response to Amamiya's question. I guess I just wait and see for now.
ほら、トモ先輩もお弁当のおかず食べてくださいよ。今日のおかずの中でおすすめはですね、ズバリこのひじきの炒めです。
No, not Hijiki. Not Hijiki. She hates that.
ひじき。
She hates that.
おまみも入ってて栄養もありますよ。カロチンメイトにも負けてません。
お豆。
Oh my god. Narita innocently offered some of her bento side dishes, but Tomo's face seemed to be twitching slightly. Step in. If you're like literally step in. If you really want to like help Tomo out, then please at least do this and say that she does not like Tomo like that. Come to think of it, I hate when he says this. Tomo was a slow eater and had a lot of food aversions, didn't she? Even after lunch was over, Tomo was still sitting there all alone. What's more, the side dish Narita recommended was stir-fried hijiki, which Tomo didn't like at the time, no, I think, at the slightest. Actually, Narita, why on earth did you have to make hijiki today of all days? No, don't just think it, man, just say it. That's a bit too plain for a homemade lunchbox made by a female student, don't you think? So how will Tomo react in this situation, and what should I do? Follow Minakura, choose to watch over. Oh, I have to see the thing. By the way, this is like a obvious choice. I just probably follow Minakura is the first one, by the way. So I'm not even going to choose to watch over.
はい、トモ先輩。
Narita politely picks up some hijiki with his own chopsticks and offers it to Tomo.
トモ先輩。
Wait, didn't I say like ah?
先輩が食べちゃった。
Okay, I picked the right option. I cut him from the side and snatched the hijiki right off Narita's chopsticks. This is good. I didn't expect stir-fried chicken to be this good. Not bad at all.
ありがとうございます。
Thank you so much. But why did I snatch it from the side? Well, Yeah, sorry. I just...
だいたい先輩ってば、普段私があーんってしても、恥ずかしがって食べてくれないのに。
How should I put it? It's kind of like the grass is always greener on the other side.
意味がわからないです。
スバル君。
Sorry, Tomo. I went and meddled where I shouldn't have.
いいの。
She knows? Tomo shook her head and looked down, her head bowed slightly. Noita got mad at me, but it seemed like Tomo understood how I felt, or what I did.
おい、アンド。ちょっとちょっと。
What's up, Amamiya? Amamiya came over to my side and whispered softly, as if speaking into my ear.
お前さ、まさかミナクラと付き合ってんのか？
No way. This isn't true.
じゃあ、ミナクラのこと好きなのか？
Well, she's my childhood friend, so there's no way I could dislike her.
ごまかすなよ。そういう意味で聞いてるんじゃないって分かってるだろ？
I was secretly unsettled by Amamiya, who kept hitting me where it hurt. It wasn't like that, or so I thought, but it's true that I have mixed feelings about Tomo. It was a complex, bittersweet feeling that couldn't be simply dismissed as a matter of liking or disliking something.
それにさ、お前ら最近放課後もこそこそなんかしてるみたいだし。
Amamiya, what do you mean by that?
いや、ちょっと小耳に挟んだんだよ。お前が夕方頃にあっちこっちうろついてるってさ。しかも毎日違う女と一緒にいるとか、いかつい不良にどこかへ連れられていたとか。
Are you talking about the evening patrol? I can't believe that kind of information actually reached Amamiya's ears. But since he was wandering around town every day, and as the eyewitnesses' accounts show with a different person each time, it wouldn't have been surprising if someone had seen her and remembered her.
まさかお前、なんかやばいことに首突っ込んでるんじゃないだろうな。
But what are you talking about? There's no way that's true, is it?
ま、そんならいいんだけどさ。ちょっと気になっただけだし。
Amamiya wrapped things up with a half-joking remark and didn't mention it again. That Amamiya guy. He may have narrow eyes, but he's definitely not blind. And all things considered, I guess he's worried about me in his own way. When I thought about it that way, I felt a bit guilty for keeping secrets, and I started to feel a little sorry for Amamiya. After that, we all shared our boxed lunches, and it turned into a pleasant lunch break. Tomo was with me today, so I think we had a good time. No abnormalities at the Sasaki residence today either. How about your end?
警察の方も今のところ異常なし。
I see. So this is contest of endurance then. Hiding in the tall grass of a vacant lot, I whispered softly. It was evening. As per the rotation, it was Yasuhiko Sasaki's turn to stand guard, just like before. What? I mean, it's me, but... By the way, since Tomo's role involves intercepting police radio communications, she's assigned to keep watch every day. On the other hand, Mikone is assigned to patrol duty to make the most of her sensory abilities. The plan was for me, Kyohei, Salin and Noita to take turns on watch every 4 days, just like before. Tomo, isn't it tough being on guard duty every day? It must be hard to just sit here like this, right?
大丈夫。警察に見つからないようにするのが少し窮屈だけど。
I think where this is... I think I know where this is going, by the way. Which I might have to blur. Because this is the only CG I saw. Right, I got a stern warning about that the other day. Since a detective, my dad caught me here before. I was keeping watch from the grassy area, trying to stay hidden. According to the weather forecast, it's supposed to get as cold as the middle of winter this evening, and tonight due to a cold front. It already feels much colder than usual. If I stand still, I feel like I'm going to freeze. Oh, it's cold. I'm definitely going to need a heating pad or something.
カイロはないけど、これ飲む？
With that, Tomo held up a thermos in front of me.
熱いコーヒーを入れてきたんだけど。
Really? That's kind of you. I decided to help myself without hesitation. In direct kiss, a steaming brown liquid is poured from the thermos Tomo brought into a cup, or from a cup. Taking it, she put it in her mouth, being careful not to burn herself, and slowly let it slide down her throat. Phew, this is warming me right up. It really soaks right into my bones. I think it was me who...
スバル君、おじさん臭い。
Don't just blurt out rude things like that out of the blue. Nothing makes me happier when a kudere or dandere smiles. Seeing me cough involuntarily, Tomo gave a small smile. The smile makes my heart skip a beat. After all, it's rare for Tomo to smile these days. She used to be so timid, always looking around as if she were watching people, but even so, she would occasionally let a smile slip in front of us. But these days, Tomo mostly keeps a poker face, so at first glance, it's hard to tell what she's thinking. Come to think of... oh my god, that reminds me a little of Koto. When we first met, Koto hardly showed any human-like emotions. Tomo probably isn't trying to copy Koto on purpose, but she might be unconsciously influenced by her. Maybe that's why I can't just leave Tomo alone either, just like back then.
ねえ、スバル君。
Yeah?
そんなに気を使わなくていいから。
But what are you talking about?
気使ってくれてるでしょ、私のことで。
I mean, yeah, thank God. Like, she's smart, so she has to be emotionally smart too. I did not know that, by the way. I thought she's just like smart in IQ and not EQ, which is equalize. I was so surprised when Tomo suddenly said that I was at a loss for words. Could it be that Tomo actually figured out what I was up to?
あやとりのこととか、お昼のこととか、私のこといろいろ構ってくるから。
No, it's not like I'm trying to be polite or anything.
じゃあ、どうして構ってくるの？
Just as I was about to argue back, Tomo immediately pressed me further. So I asked myself again seriously, why am I so preoccupied with Tomo? It probably all started when I recalled a memory from 7 years ago. So I've been thinking about Tomo, who's changed so much since the old days, but there are actually some parts of her that haven't changed. I can do this. There are so many things on my mind, but I don't think I can put them into words. Well, so basically...
スバル君。
Tomo. Just as I was about to speak, wanting to say something, Tomo looked at me intently with teary eyes. And so the words that were already struggling to come out completely vanished. For some reason I froze solid, while Tomo faced me with a feverish gaze.
トイレ行きたくなっちゃった。
This would have been so romantic. Why do you have to ruin this with a peeking scene? Not that I mind, but you know, like the placement.
だからそのトイレ
What the heck is that supposed to mean? Where did all that meaningful build-up from earlier go?
だってちょっと緊張しちゃったから。
This feels just like Tomo from way back then. Especially the parts where she was a mess. Although my spirits were throughoutly dampened, deep down I felt a little relieved. But when you say restroom, there don't seem to be any restrooms around here, and with the guards watching, I can't really leave this spot. That left only one option. Why don't you go do it over there, deep in that patch of grass?
それは
If you go all the way to the back, no one will see you. I keep watch here, so go ahead. Tomo groans weakly. Even Tomo seems to have some reservations about that. It would be so much easier if I were a guy. Being a girl is just so much work. Come on, you should go now. It will be too late once something happens.
わかった。
It seemed she struggled with herself for a moment, but perhaps she couldn't stand it any longer. Tomo reluctantly nodded.
じゃあこれ預けておくから警察の動きもチェックしておいて。
With that, Tomo handed me her headphones she had been wearing. I took it and hung it around my neck. Since the head size is different, it doesn't look like I'll be able to wear it normally.
それじゃちょっと行ってくる。
Yeah, go on, hurry up.
こっち見ないでね。
What do you mean wanna see? No, that's not what it says. Why would I look? Probably. Engaging in what is like a fourth wall break. Engaging in what was, in a sense, a predictable exchange, Tomo made her way deeper into the grassy area. Phew, what a hassle. By the way, I wouldn't look if I was him. Or if I were him, because like, even if I'm trying to catch something, it's just like goes to show like I would be just like a sex deprived man in my mind. Well, now that Tomo's gone, I guess I have to keep watch all by myself. It was just the way of the word that something unexpected always seemed to happen at times like this. Oh. Just then I heard the sound of grass rustling nearby, so I crouched down in the bushes and peered in the direction of the sound. Dad! Standing there was a man who looked every bit the detective. My dad. Dad looks around nervously as he approaches us. Oh no, Dad can't find me here. Tom and I have been caught here before, so I doubt we will be able to get away with it this time. What should we do here? Step back, hold my breath right here. So I have to press step back. Well, I guess I have to back off for now. I picked up our bags, mine and Tomo's, and backed away, crouching low so we wouldn't be spotted. I made my way down, pushing through the grass from one thicket to the next. For now, I need to put some distance between myself and Dad. Yeah, I have to blur this out. Oh. As I made my way through the thicket, I suddenly came out into a clearing with sparse vegetation. There I saw Tomo sitting on the ground with her knees drawn up to her chest. So surprised we both froze in place. It seemed Tomo was just about to take a leak. She had her pants down and was ready to go. Like, what the hell? Where on earth did I run into this girl? I almost let out to cry, but then I remembered why I had come here. Wait a second. There's a cop coming this way. Plus, he's my dad. It'd be bad if he found us here. Please just stay still and don't make a sound for a while. This is the most humiliating thing. When I told her that, Tomo let out a scream that defied description. I too am in a truly dire situation, and I'm absolutely overwhelmed. Right in front of me was Tomo with her pants down, just about to go to the restroom. What's more, she was standing with her legs spread wide open, right in front of me.
見ないで。
I know.
でも見てる。スバルくんこっち見てるよ。
Sorry. Even as I apologized, I couldn't move a muscle. It was as if I were paralyzed. No, don't look. Yeah. I know full well that I shouldn't look. No. No. You mustn't look at her crotch. You mustn't look at the vertical cleft. You mustn't look at the curve of her buttocks from between her thighs. Wait, am I staring way too hard here? But even though I knew better, I found myself unable to look away, because you're a bitch. Tomo seems off. It's not just that she's embarrassed because I'm watching her, this is...
漏れちゃう。
I know it. Oh no, that was a really bad situation. By the way, the placement is good that it's there because, like, if it would be, like, under the text box, it would be very bad for me to blur. I was supposed to be on my watch to save people from the clutches of the alien god, so how did things end up in such a bizarre situation? Tomo.
出る。もう出ちゃうよ。
The sound of the swallowing my saliva echoed strangely loudly inside my head. Tomo is about to pee right in front of me. She seems to be trying her hardest not to let it out here, but I doubt she can hold it in for much longer.
おしっこ出る。もう本当に。
Tomo's shoulders were shaking so violently, it was almost pitiful. How could you say this or think this? My mind went completely blank, and I couldn't think of a thing. Just like a child observing an insect, I stared intently at Tomo's crotch.
来ちゃった。ダメ。見ないで。
Finally, unable to hold it any longer, Tomo started peeing right in front of me. The urine tracing a beautiful parabolic arc. What the fuck? Sparkles in the evening sun.
出る。いっぱい出ちゃう。見ないでって言ってるのに。スバルくんのバカ。
By the way, this is like the worst root thing you can do, but you know, it deserves. Like, it's. I'm sorry to talk over this, but like, this is the best thing you can do because, like, Subaru is a dickhead. And now you made Tomo cry, and this is like for someone who was bullied in the past and being humiliated, feeling humiliated by that. It's honestly what I was doing wasn't just stupid, it was downright criminal. Yeah, thank you. Even though a part of me is thinking that rationally in the back of my mind, most of my brain has shut down. Now she's going to avoid him for the better. He watched the entire scene unfold mechanically, as if trying to edge the side before her into her memory.
すご気持ちよくなっちゃう。
What?
こんなのダメなのに、目の前で見られてるのに。
Tomo trembles with the pleasure of urinating. It's true, when you finally pee after holding it in for ages, it feels like an almost surreal sense of relief, doesn't it? At this point, I can't stop myself anymore, even peeing, the pleasure of letting it all out. No!
膝がガクガクする。足しびれて全然して。
Tomo was shaking her body restlessly in small jerky movements, just like a small animal. Perhaps aware that it is hiding even in a situation like this, it is desperately trying not to move a muscle. Caught between reason and instinct, Tomo was torn in two.
長い。まだ出るの。もっと待って。おしっここんなにいっぱい。
Before she knew it, a small puddle had formed on the ground in front of Tomo. It was a pale golden pool made entirely of Tomo's. Soon the stream from between Tomo's legs came to an end, and the last drop tricked out of her. Oh, I see. Unlike guys, girls can't just shake off the droplets that land on them. For some reason, that's what I thought, and I kept nodding in agreement.
見られた。最後までじっと見られた。
Yeah, in the end, I couldn't take my eyes off Tomo for a single moment. During that time, my thoughts and emotions came to a halt, and I simply continued to observe objectively. Right, where's Dad? I remembered something important and peeked out from between the bushes to see what was going on. Detective. My dad was still out in the vacant lot. Why did Dad come here in the first place? It doesn't look like they found us. Just then a cell phone rang out. It's his because mine is like terrible. The audio is in towers, which means...
もしもし、私だ。どうかしたか？ああ、ちょっとな。すぐそちらに行く。
Dad walked away from the vacant lot while talking on his cell phone. Phew, look like they have finally gone over there. That's when I finally came to my senses and realized the fact that I'm witnessing this situation. Sorry! I quickly look away and turn my back. But since Dad might still be nearby, I can't just get up. I can hear the distinct sound of fabric rustling behind me. Tomo must be putting on her underwear right now. Stop it, don't think about it. Me? I decided to start by counting prime numbers to clear my mind. 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, Little while later, Tomo finished getting ready, then an incredibly awkward silence fell between the two of us. I've seen Tomo wet herself before, but of course I never actually seen her pee normally, without the underwear. What on earth am I supposed to do in this situation?
忘れて。
Huh?
さっきのは忘れて。私も忘れるから。
Yes, let's do that. We decided to pretend it never happened. I think that's the most constructive decision. If we don't, it looks like it's going to cause all sorts of problems down the road.
こちら B 班応答願います。佐々木宅にて異変発生。
Did the detective dropped his earpiece? Huh? Just then, a police radio transmission came through the oh no, the headphones, yeah. Modified headphones Tomo had given me. Tomo, what just happened?
動きがあったみたい。
We strain our ears to listen to the radio transmission coming through our headphones, hoping to pick up more details.
2階の安い小少年の部屋から物音が。はい、何やら争っているような気配が。
Oh yeah, the first guy died through the vent system, or ventilation system. Damn it, what's going on? I can't hear them clearly. Suddenly the static got really bad and it became hard to hear the radio. What the hell? At a time like this? Ah. What is that? Just as I thought, I heard a sudden burst of static. The sound cut off abruptly right after that. I can't hear a thing anymore. The headphones are completely silent. What's going on with this? Is it broken?
それはともかく、佐々木邸で何かあったのは確か。
Right, let's hurry. We nodded to each other, and as I handed the headphones back to Tomo, we headed to the scene. I headed for the Sasaki residence, checking in with everyone else along the way via cell phone.
今、何時だ?
A pitch black room, with the curtains drawn tight. I can't even tell if it's day or night. In that room, there was a boy sitting on the bed. In this room... Oh, I'm the... Ishin? I don't know. In that room, there was a boy sitting on the bed, wrapped in a blanket and hugging his knees. He's been staying indoors all the time lately.
怖い。
That scene was still etched in his mind. Our comrades were engulfed by the red sand and turned into mummies in just a matter of seconds. That fear still comes back to haunt him, and he has been emotionally unstable for quite some time now.
俺らが一体何したってんだよ。
We were just teasing our classmates a little. Then they just decided to stop coming to school on their own. Just because of that, why do I have to go through this? What filled my heart was neither regret nor remorse, but simply a sense of injustice. Just then, a whooshing sound came from somewhere. A static-like noise, like a TV static or a snowstorm. And then suddenly the air conditioner stops working. The noise from earlier gradually grew louder, and the air conditioner, which had stopped running, began to rattle and vibrate. Wrapped in a blanket and trembling with fear, I stared intently at the air conditioner. Soon, something resembling red smoke began to pour out of the air conditioner vent.
来た！奴が俺を殺しに来た！
I realized it immediately that it was the red sand that had humidified and killed my comrades. Mummified.
やだ！死にたくねえ！死にたくねえよ！
In a state of near hysteria, I pulled back the closed curtains and reached for the window. Just below the window was the eaves of the first floor. I leaned out of the window, put my feet there, and jumped down to the ground below. I landed awkwardly and ended up sprawled on the floor in front of the entrance, but it was a blessing in disguise that I got away with just a few scrapes.
安彦君一体何を
Just then, a middle-aged man came running over, looking startled. He's probably one of the detectives who was guarding my house. Should I ask him for help?
あ君マジ
Hearing that noise again, I ran off as fast as I could, terrified. Because I know that no one can stop that red scent.
なんだこれは
No, my dad. I could hear the detective cries of surprise and pain coming from behind, but Sasaki kept running without looking back even once. But I kept running. Without looking back, I ran away barefoot. But just how far do I have to run? There's no way to escape that red scent.
いたなんだ
Mamma mia. I was running without really looking where I was going when I bumped into someone who came around the corner.
ちょっとあんた大丈夫なんか裸足みたいだけど
Standing right in front of me was a boy wearing the Matsuzawa Municipal Academy uniform. The same school uniform as Sasaki's, but I didn't recognize the face.
おいマジで大丈夫かよ救急車呼ぼうかそれとも警察なんだこの音助けてくれえ何なんなの急に
Suddenly, a crimson storm erupted, engulfing me in an instant. Mamma mia, a boy who had merely happened to be passing by and found himself there by chance let out a scream of shock and confusion. But as if to drown out that scream, the red sand engulfed me and soon began to swirl. Right before my eyes, a person was buried in the sand, withered away before my very eyes. I don't know whose POV is this. I don't know why, the AI keep messing it up or the translation. Witnessing such a scene, which was completely out of the ordinary, Haru Amamiya was overcome with fear. Against the sunset sky, as red as blood, a man's scream echoes through the air. I'm pretty sure it's over here. Whoa? When Tomo and I rushed over to the Sasaki residence, we found 2 or 3 men lying unconscious in front of the house. One of them was the person I just seen in the vacant lot. Dad? Are you okay, Dad? Could the Ishin just knock someone out? What the fuck? I rushed over as fast as I could and helped Dad to his feet. Tomo went to check on the other people who had fallen.
It's... スバル
More importantly, are you hurt?
ああ私は大丈夫だしかし何だったんだ
I'll be fine, Dad muttered as he got back on his feet. It seems he hadn't suffered any serious injuries, so I breathed a sigh of relief. So, what exactly happened?
ああそこの家の2階の窓から佐々木康彦君が下に飛び降りてさらにその後を追うように彼の部屋からハムシの群れのような何かが飛び出してきたんだ
Something that looks like a swarm of flying insects, no doubt about it, is the sand demon. I finally realized he had made his move.
それを見て彼は逃げ出した私たちもその後を追おうとしたが
A swarm of flying insects attacked me, and I was defeated, that says, clutching his head. It seems he can't believe this actually happened to him, and I can't blame him.
スバル君、こっちは怪我をした人がいる。
Just then, Tomo, who had been watching the others, called out.
金田さん、安岡、大丈夫か？
いってってってって。
Apparently, the other two are detectives who work with my dad. A man who looked older than my dad and another man who looked quite young were lying on the ground, groaning.
こっちのおじさんは肺を損傷している可能性がある。若い人の方はまだマシだけど、自力で立てそうにない。
These two seem to be in worse shape than Dad. Alright, in that case. Dad, I handed those two over there. They are your allies, right?
ああ。しかし、お前たちは。
We'll be fine, so don't worry about us.
スバル、お前。
Dad started to say something, but I ignored him and turned back toward Tomo. Tomo, let's go. Let's follow Yasuhiko Sasaki.
わかった。
こら、何を言って。待ちなさい、スバル。
Ignoring my father's protest, we left the scene. I ran into the direction where Yasuhiko Sasaki seemed to have fled. Is he still alive? We'll make it in time. Huh? What was that?
この先から聞こえたけど。
A man's scream, but it wasn't Yasuhiko Sasaki's. Although the voice sounded familiar, I headed in the direction it came from anyway. I think it was around here.
スバルくん、あそこ。
Amamiya, what are you doing here? I came across the familiar face where Tomo was pointing. I see, so that scream earlier was this guy's voice too. Or Amamiya. Hey, Amamiya, are you okay? What are you doing here? Even when I called out to him, Amamiya didn't answer. He just stared at a single spot on the ground, letting out a hoarse groan. Damn, I was too late. There lay a mummified corpse, one I had seen countless times before. I can't make out his face, but it's probably Yasuhiko Sasaki. In the end, I missed it again. And rising from the townscape, bathed in the evening glow, was a crimson bloom. No, it wasn't smoke, it was scent. The strange god of the red sand stood there in human form, just as I had seen him before. Damn it, you really did it. Tomo, take Amamiya and get out of here.
気をつけて。
I know, there's nothing I can do on my own. I stand facing the sand deity, ready for battle. Physical attacks are largely ineffective against this sand demon. The only attack that might have a temporary effect is Salena's explosion. My neural link wasn't working very well either, but if I could at least buy some time until everyone else arrives... You are awfully quiet. For some reason, the sand deity isn't moving. It looks like it's just standing there, staring into space. He didn't lunge at me, nor did he make any move to leave. Are you seriously satisfied just because you took down Yasuhiko Sasaki? If that's the case, the first move wins. I know my attacks aren't getting through, but if I could at least stop the enemy from moving... Here we go. Stretch out, wire. I extended nerve wires from the tips of both fingers. This time, instead of slashing like a whip, I tried to subdue the enemy by wrapping a wire around their body. Damn it! So it didn't work after all. It never worked. But as expected, the wire slipped right through the sand. The soft sand was as elusive as water. I can't cut it, and I can't tie it up. What the hell am I supposed to do? Is there really nothing we can do already? But at the very least, we have to hang in there until everyone, or I have to hang in there until everyone else gets here. Here they come. Perhaps in response to my attack, the sand deity finally began to move. A sand-based deity that charges towards us while retaining its human form. I was sure he was going to spread out his body like before and attack me in a sandstorm. Is this some kind of trap? But I can't just stand here doing nothing. For now, I dodged the sand god's charge. That was the dodge. The enemy isn't exactly fast, so it was easy. The alien god that had passed by me turned around after a moment and charged at me again. What the hell is this guy? What's he up to? Unable to read the enemy's intentions, I dodged the charge once again, even as I'm thrown into confusion. And once again I was able to dodge it easily. He just kept charging straight at me. He wants to tire you out, no? Is this attack pattern different from before? That lump of sand still doesn't say a word, but with the one from last time, I could sense something that felt like outright hostility. But this time, the movements are uncharacteristically slow and monotonous, and above all, there's no sense of intention at all. It looks like it's just moving around randomly. But our attacks aren't getting through either. What should we do? Things aren't going anywhere like this. We don't know where the enemy might make a break for it. Is there any way to break out of this situation?
スバル君、奴から離れて。
Tomo? Just then I heard a voice from behind me, and before I could even think, I instinctively stepped back.
標準。よし。ターゲットロック。
And when I looked back, there was Tomo holding a massive gun barrel. What the fuck is that thing? Vacuum cleaner. She went too little, like I said. At first I thought it was the usual net launcher, but when I looked closely I noticed that the shape of the tape was quite different. Tomo, what's that?
秘密兵器。
She winked. Tomo murmurs a quiet reply to my question. Then Tomo placed her finger on the trigger, aimed at the sand god.
発射。
Vacuum cleaner? No, it's water. A bullet was fired with great force from the muzzle. The bullet glistened in the setting sun as it flew straight toward Ishin. After being struck directly by the bullet, the other god clearly displayed a different attitude than before. The area where Tomo's bullet struck has turned into a faint black, and it's transforming as if it were melting into a gooey mass.
まだまだ。
Deciding that it was working, Tomo pulled the trigger on the cannon barrel again and again. Let's go, firefighter! The alien god took the bullet head on 2 or 3 times, appearing to writhe in agony. The other god, who had until now calmly brushed off every attack, was showing signs of damage for the first time.
スバル君、もう一度神経ワイヤーを。
Huh, but my attacks don't work on him.
大丈夫。私の推測が正しければ、今なら。
Okay, I get it. Tomo seems to have something in mind. If that's the case, I trust her. Come on, go! I extended the nerve wires from both hands once more. A total of 10 wires sliced through the air, lashing out like whips towards the sand god. This time, however, unlike before, I felt a definitive resistance. It feels like heavy, clinching mud and parts of the enemy's body fly off. The sand deity managed to restore its form, but it could feel that the blow had dealt some damage. It seems that the bullet from earlier is just, as Tomo said, a secret weapon designed to combat the sand-based alien god. Alright, let's go for it all at once. I couldn't let this opportunity slip by. Just as I braced myself to launch another attack, Damn it, he's getting away. The sand deity dispersed his body just as before, and the crimson particles melted into the setting sun and vanished. At the same time, the enemy's presence quickly faded, and silence eventually settled over the area. It was such a great opportunity. But once things got to this point, without Mikune and her psychic abilities, we were completely helpless.
惜しかった。
You're right, but that's all thanks to you too. I turned to look at Tomo, who had come over to me. I was saved this time thanks to Tomo's backup. I guess that's thanks to that secret weapon of hers. So what's the deal with that gun? Why was it so effective against that sand-based alien god?
これ、平たく言うと水鉄砲。
A water gun? That was the true nature of the secret weapon.
工事現場で砂ぼこりが上がるとき、水をまくことで砂ぼこりを抑える効果がある。
Come to think of it, I do see him around sometimes. When Tomo suddenly brought that up, I nodded along, though I was a bit puzzled. At construction sites, especially during building demolition, workers spray water from a hose. I'm hallucinating. From a hose as they work to prevent dust from spreading when walls or columns collapse.
それと同じ原理で砂の偉人の体に水を含ませればあの形状を維持できないんじゃないかと思って。
So, does that mean that sand body is vulnerable to water?
うん。それで市販の水鉄砲を改造した強力なウォーターガンを用意しておいたの。
I see, so that was exactly what you were aiming for. Tomo's hunch was right. The modified water gun proved highly effective against the sand deity. The wet areas had turned to mud, and the nerve wires were able to penetrate those sections. In other words, if you get it wet, our attacks will work. That's just like you, Tomo. Just like you said before, you really did figure out how to defeat the sand deity.
よかった。役に立てたみたいで。
Tomo has never been useless, not even once. I, on the other hand, have been in that situation quite a few times.
そんなことない。
Tomo lowered her head slightly and whispered as if to herself. I couldn't tell if that remark was meant to be supportive of me or if it was me downplaying my own abilities. In any case, we have finally found a way to counter the sand deity. But there is something that's been on my mind though. Something about this alien god seemed off from the very beginning. Their movements are monotonous and I don't sense any hostility. Their behavior patterns were clearly different from last time. And in the end, Yasuhiko Sasaki was killed too.
うん。私たち間に合わなかった。
The Sun God had thus fulfilled Naoki Takayama's revenge. What should we do now?
おい、安藤。それに皆倉も。
Amamiya, are you okay?
大丈夫じゃねえよ。なんなんだよありゃ。
Just as Tomo and I were feeling down, Amamiya, who had been standing back, stepped forward and confronted us. Right, there was this guy too. I never thought Amamiya would see the other gods for us.
お前らも何やってんだよ。なんで安藤があんなのとやり合ってんだ。
Amamiya, calm down a little.
これが落ち着いてられるか。砂が襲いかかってきたり、人が目の前でミイラになったり。挙句にお前と皆倉が当たり前みたいにあれと戦ってたりよ。
This was actually the second time Amamiya had encountered a foreign god. When the first alien god I encountered stormed into the school, Amamiya got caught up in it too. Before I was able to brush it off because my memories had been devoured by the alien, or his... I don't know whose memories get devoured by the alien god, but it seems I can get away with this time. Okay, I'll explain it properly.
本当だな。 丸ごと全部包み隠さずだぞ。
Yeah, I tell you everything.
スバルくん、いいの？
It can't be helped. That sand-wielding other gods saw me using my powers after all. Deciding that I couldn't keep covering it up any longer, I decided to explain the situation to Amamiya. For now, I take Amamiya and leave this place. He's going to be a 7th member, what the fuck? My dad and the others will probably rush to the scene right away and discover Yasuhiko Sasaki's mummified corpse. Let's leave the follow-up to the police. Night passed, twilight. 6 people gather once again at the abandoned factory. And then there was one more.
まさかなゆたちゃんまでグルだったなんて。こいつは参ったな。
アマミー先輩、ごめんなさい。今まで黙ってて。
しかもそっちはこの前の巫女さん。安藤たちとはどういったご関係で？
私たちはなゆたちゃん以外は全員スバルくんの幼馴染なのよ。
幼馴染ね。まさか喫茶ハニーのサリナちゃんまで。
まあ一応ね。あなたお店で私とスバルが話してたの。
そういやそうだったっけ。でもこんなことになってるなんて夢にも思わないだろう。
His usual cheerful demeanor has vanished, and Amamiya is frowning with narrowed eyes. Probably I did not expect this. This was the only plot twist so far that I couldn't even, see. Not that it was that much of a plot twist, but that's right, Amamiya was here today. I brought him along on my own initiative, so we could explain the situation.
スバル、本当に偉人のこと話すのか？
This makes it the second time Amamiya has been involved in an incident involving a foreign god. He can't cover it up anymore.
しかしな。
Besides, Amamiya is my friend. I can't keep any more secrets from a friend.
スバル。
Kyo doesn't seem keen on telling Amamiya about the alien god. I think that's a perfectly valid point, but I did my best to convince my childhood friends, including Kyo. Who's going to be next? Tenyuji? I thought that was the least I could do to show my sincerity toward Amamiya, who had been keeping secrets from me all this time.
わかったわ。スバルくんの思うようにすればいい。
巫女ね、いいのか？
偉人の存在は別に秘密ってわけじゃないもの。ただ普通は信じてもらえないだろうからむやみに話さないだけ。でも彼は砂の偉人を目の当たりにしたって言うし、だったら偉人のことも信じてもらえるんじゃないかしら。
Thanks, Mikone. Since Miko agreed, Kyo and the others were more or less convinced as well. And so I faced Amamiya once again. Well then, before I explain everything, first off, why were you in a place like that?
なんでって、昼間話しただろ？お前が放課後にあちこちで目撃されてるって。
Come to think of it, you did say something like that?
それでさ、最近あそこら辺で見たってやつがいたから、ちょっと気になって帰りに寄ってみたんだよ。
So, what were you looking for, me?
だって気になるだろ？皆倉のこともあったし、しかも毎日違う女の子と街をうろついてるなんて話で。
Come to think of it, he did mention that during lunch break, it seems he saw us patrolling the town.
もしお前がなゆたちゃんに内緒でそういうことしてるなら、俺はダチとしてなんか言ってやらなくちゃって。
アマミー先輩、私と先輩のために？
Seeing Amamiya's completely serious demeanor with not a trace of his usual silliness, Nayuta's eyes widened in surprise, or widened. I see, so Amamiya really was worried about us. Although Amamiya is always the class clown and plays the comic relief, I knew that surprisingly he was actually observant and considerate of those around him. But I had no idea he was such a loyal friend. Maybe I underestimated Amamiya. Yeah, you dickhead. While I feel bad about that, I also find myself wanting to reciprocate his feelings. Gay route. I decided, without any hesitation, to tell them everything I could. What you saw was a man-eating monster called an Ijin. Yeah, straight in.
偉人しかも人食いだって。
Then I gave Amamiya a brief explanation of the situation. About the other gods and the fact that the 6 of us are fighting them. Since talking about something that happened 7 years ago would take too long, I decided to skip over that part. Right now, a man-eating monster known as the Ijin is lurking in this town. What's more, they can mimic any form, making them difficult to spot. And we possess powers comparable to those of the other gods, and we are using those abilities to fight them and so on.
偉人に異能だって。たくどこの少年漫画だよ、その設定は。
I knew you'd say that, that's why I didn't tell you until now.
まあ、でも今日見たことを踏まえると、お前の考えた妄想ってわけじゃなさそうだしな。
You don't have to believe me right away, it probably won't sink in right away, even after what you saw today.
いや、信じるぜ。お前が指から糸出すところまで見ちまったしな。
Amamiya seemed to snap back to his usual self just a little and grinned. Thank goodness, it seems Amamiya took what I said in stride. If I had told the truth and no one had believed me, things could have gotten really messy. At this rate, it doesn't look like there's any cause or concern regarding Amamiya.
じゃあさ、今日俺が見たあれって、もしかして例の連続ミイラ化殺人ってやつなのか？
Oh, right, as you saw, that was the work of a foreign god.
マジかよ。まだいじめられっ子の怨念って方が説得力あるって。
Well, maybe that resentment thing isn't entirely off the mark.
は？どういうことだよ。
I told Amamiya my theory that the otherworldly spirit that had devoured Naoki Takayama was taking revenge on the people who had bullied him. And that Yasuhiko Sasaki, who was killed today, was the last remaining member of that bullying group. In the end, his revenge was carried out, though it was revenge he began in place of the person he devoured.
そうか。偉人って本当わけわかんねえんだな。
Right? But that's exactly the kind of people we are fighting. In response to Amamiya's comment, I added as if to emphasize my point. Well, that wraps up my explanation to Amamiya for now, but...
あのさ、安藤。教えてもらったついでに、もう一つ頼みがあるんだけど。
Favor? What's this? Also formal?
俺もお前らの仲間に入れてくれよ。な。
What the hell are you talking about? Caught off guard by those unexpected words, I let out a gasp. I was worried that they might not believe me, but I never imagined they actually get so involved.
な、いいだろ？なゆたちゃんがいるんなら、俺だっていてもさ。
Don't be ridiculous, this isn't a game.
わかってるさ、真剣なんだろ？人食いの化け物と命がけで戦ってるんだろ？
If you know that, then why would you say something like that?
だって、俺とお前はダチだろ。少なくとも、俺はそう思ってるよ。
Amamiya, you...
だから俺も、お前と一緒に。
Apart from Nayuta and my childhood friends, Amamiya was my closest friend. I've only known this guy since I started at my current school, so we haven't spent that much time together. But Amamiya was to no small extent part of my boring yet precious daily life. That's exactly why I... No way. This is our fight, and it has nothing to do with Amamiya.
安藤!
Besides, I don't want to drag any more innocent people into this. Amamiya seemed shocked by what I said. But this is one thing I just can't compromise on. What I told Amamiya was how I truly felt. As a friend, I can't let Amamiya get any more involved in this, even if that's what he wants. Amamiya looks at me without saying a word. I stare back at Amamiya, also without saying a word. With an unwavering determination never to give in.
分かったよ。
Eventually, Amamiya relented, albeit reluctantly. But there was an incredibly awkward silence between me and Amamiya. There hasn't been any movement from the enemy's alien gods since then. Okay, I think I'm going to end this episode here. It probably ended up on the shorter side, I don't know, and I have to cut a lot of things, but you know, I feel like that if I can either do two things right now, do everything in one sitting, which I have, like, it would be too late probably, or just like end it here, and it probably going to have, like, it will be a good chunk of the remaining of what this route probably going to entail. So thank you guys for watching, and I see you guys in part 20, which is probably going to be fitting to end the Tomo route on. Ciao.